Radhe Radhe, everyone. We're going to hear a few of the questions that our YouTube viewers have been sending in, and I'll answer as many as I can today. We'll also keep one wireless mic ready in case, if you have any follow-up questions to the ones that I'm answering here, you can raise your hand and we'll bring a microphone around to you. The first question is how to be nirantar in bhakti. The word nirantar means without break, continuous. In many scriptures, especially in the Gita, we find reference to the need to have continuous devotion. Ananyas chintayanto mam ye jana paryupasate tesham nityabhiyuktanam yogakshemam vahamyaham. Shri Krishna says, the ones who keep their mind always joined with me, I take their full responsibility. Ananyacheta satatam, satatam, always. He says, tasyaham sulabha partha nitya yuktasya yogina. Those devotees who keep their minds attached to me all the time, I'm easily attainable by them. Narad Ji also says in his Narad Bhakti Darshan that the definition of bhakti, one of the important characteristics of bhakti or devotion is avicchinnam, without break. You should remember God all the time. So the question is here practically, how do we remember God all the time? It's okay, today you don't have to worry about the noise, don't worry. Today's an interactive session. So how do we practically remember God all the time? It seems like a very tall task. And in fact, it's more of a long-term goal. It's something we want to achieve. We want to become like that. But from our beginner status, where we all find ourselves, we won't just all of a sudden hear this instruction that we're supposed to remember God all the time and find that we can just do it. Actually, there are a couple of techniques that we can employ to help us until we reach the level. I would say remembering God all the time is not just something we would try to practice, it's also something we can notice that, hey, I'm doing it, it means I've progressed. So it's a symptom of progress. So we can look at it both ways. It's like controlling anger. If somebody says, how do I control anger? Well, your anger will be under control when you've reached a certain height of devotion. So if you notice that your anger has disappeared, it means you've made a lot of progress. Your heart has been purified. It's the same thing with remembering God all the time. The more our mind becomes attached to God, the more it gets purified and the more it will naturally stay in God all the time. So it is also a symptom, but it's also something we have to practice along the way. I described to you the last time I spoke here, last weekend, that what is the daily practice of sadhana, how should we sit and meditate on the form of Radha Krishna. This is our ekant sadhana. This is the practice of devotion we do every day, even if we're alone, even if there's no one to do it with. We sit and we form the image of Radha Krishna and we chant kirtan or listen to kirtan. This is our daily practice. If we do that, that creates more attachment in our heart for Radha Krishna, and it purifies our heart. So naturally, we're going to start remembering God more and more throughout the day. Just like naturally, our anger is going to reduce for the same reason. However, just like in the case of anger, even though we're doing our daily practice of devotion and we're hoping to see that day where our anger starts reducing, and we want to notice that. Nonetheless, along with the practice of our daily devotion, we also want to do something to deal with the anger at the time that it happens, right? So we also say, okay, don't speak when you're angry, take some deep breaths, drink some cold water, don't say anything for 3 days. That's my personal rule. If I feel like I really need to talk to this person about this, but I'm feeling angry about it, I'll look at, what's the date today? Okay, 3 days from now, I'll make an appointment with that person to talk about it. By then, I may realize, no, there's nothing to talk about. It was all my emotions. Or maybe if there is something, then I can deal with it now that I'm over it. But it generally takes me 3 days. So just like we need some techniques to deal with anger when it arises, we can also employ 2 techniques to help us practicing remembering God throughout the day. Although eventually it will become a natural thing when our mind becomes more attached to God through practicing sadhana, but along the way we can employ these techniques to have greater success. Because throughout the day we get so wrapped up in the tasks, and whether it's homework or school or housework or office work, whatever it is, we get completely wrapped up in the flow of the day. And we generally find the whole day goes by and we haven't even thought of God one time. So there's something we can do to break up that flow of the day, break it up in a good way. We take some time outs. This is a technique taught by Jagadguru Shree Kripalu Ji Maharaj. It's a very simple technique, but like all good things, they are simple but powerful. If you use them, they work. The technique is stop what you're doing once an hour. At the top of every hour, stop what you're doing. For how long? Will my boss give me trouble, call me lazy because I take too many breaks? No. For 3 seconds, that's it. Take a break from what you're doing for 3 seconds and remember, I'm not alone. Krishna is with me. That's it. It's a fact, he is with you. So Kripalu Ji Maharaj says at the beginning of the day, let's say you work in an office or you work at a school desk or maybe you spend your day at home. So wherever you are, choose a place and say, this is where Krishna is spending the day with me today. He's going to be right here all day. Then start doing your work. After 1 hour, and maybe you even need to set a chime on your phone or your watch, stop what you're doing just for a couple of seconds and remind yourself, I'm not alone. Krishna is here with me. You don't have to do a full Roop Dhyan of how is he dressed and all of that, which we do when we're doing the more extended devotional practice. No, just remember, he's with me. Then go back to doing your work for another hour. And at the top of the next hour, again, stop. This simple practice is enough to start training your mind to think of Krishna throughout the day. At least you'll do it 8, 10, 12 times, right, in the day, as opposed to 0 times, which is what's likely to happen if we don't employ such a technique. Kripalu Ji Maharaj says when you find this becomes natural, then make it every 30 minutes. Then make it every 15 minutes. You can keep reducing the time. That's one technique to develop the ability to remember God all the time. The other technique is when you actually have some time that your mind is not required, the involvement of the mind is not fully required for some task that you're doing throughout the day, like walking from one place to another, like vacuuming, right? There are certain tasks we do that don't require the full involvement of our intellect. Then Kripalu Ji Maharaj says, do Radhe breathing. Some people do jap. Jap means you repeat a name of God or a mantra that has a name of God. You repeat it and then you count on jap beads how many times you've repeated that. It's a way of doing devotion. Kripaluji Maharaj says, do the jap with your breathing instead of a mala, instead of a bead necklace. So when you inhale, without saying anything out loud, you just say it in your heart. When you inhale, you say Ra, and when you exhale, you say Dhe. It also reminds you to breathe fully, which is good for your health. It relaxes you, and it reminds you of Radha Krishna. Inhale Ra, exhale Dhe. Whenever you have a moment, a break, or some task that you're doing that doesn't require the full involvement of your mind, you can do this Radhe breathing. These two simple techniques, if employed, make it very possible to remember God throughout the day. If not continuously in the beginning, at least intermittently throughout the day. We'll start with intermittently remembering God, and eventually it becomes nirantar, unbroken remembrance of God. So this is one scriptural instruction for devotion, which we find everywhere in all the scriptures, so it's very important, but it takes the guidance of a true saint to bring that instruction to a practical level so that ordinary souls like us can understand how to actually implement it in our life. So this was the first question today. Any follow-up questions based on that? The next question, oh yes, just bring them. Can you use the mic so everyone can hear you? There's people watching online too, they want to hear you.
I think I like the idea of remembering Nirantar to God, but why do we always naturally remember God when we have something trouble? And when we are okay and everything is going smoothly, we tend to forget God.
Yeah, I think everybody's different actually. Some people remember God more when things are going well, when they have peace of mind, they find it easier to remember God. And when bad things happen, then they get so disturbed in their mind, they forget about God. And some people are the other way. When things are going good, they get so wrapped up in that they forget about God. And when bad things happen, then they remember, oh yeah, I need God. Right? So I've heard people tell me I'm like this or I'm like that, so I know there's both types of people. Any other questions? The next question is about ananyata. It's another, we talked about nirantarata, continuous remembrance of God. The next question is about ananyata, which means exclusive devotion. Exclusive means exclusive to one's Ishtadev, one's Gurudev, and the path that one is following. Ishtadev means one's chosen form of God that we want to attain. We can, in fact, only attain God in one form. And those who have attained God in the past have always attained God in one single form. And those saints in our history who have taught the path to God, they have always taught to worship one form of God. There are no saints who taught to worship multiple forms of God. They all worshiped one form of God. They respected all forms of God, knowing that they are forms of the one single God, but they taught to worship one form. Thus, ananyata means worshiping one form of God, following the instructions of one Guruji, because although there may be many genuine saints in the world at any one time, their instructions may cause confusion if you try to mix and match. It's not the kind of thing where, oh, let me listen to a little bit from here and listen to a little bit from here, and then I'll find something that works for me. That won't bring success on the spiritual path. Different saints, although they're all one with the same God, they've all explained the philosophy in slightly different terminology for different people at different times. And they also explain the path slightly differently. So it's not wise to try to follow multiple gurus at the same time. We should find one guru, follow the teachings of that guru, and be ananya, be exclusive to the path being taught by that guru with the goal of attaining that form of God. It may take time for a person to reach this acceptance. Meaning, in the beginning, if you're saying, well, I haven't found the guru that I want to follow yet. I don't know what is the right path for me to follow. Yes, then you're not at that stage where you would become ananya. But when you do find that guru who's benefiting you and who's teaching you the path that can take you to the goal that you want to attain, then become ananya to that Ishtadev, that guru, and that path. So the question has to do with this ananyata, that the person asking said they went to a jyotishi, an astrologer, because they had some trouble, and then this astrologer told them a certain tariqa, like they should do this thing in order to, just for the next couple months, in order to avoid getting too much trouble from this thing that's showing up in their horoscope. So this person happened to recommend doing a part of Sundarkand. Now, this person happens to already be following the path taught by Jagadguru Shree Kripalu Ji Maharaj, the path of Raga Nuga Bhakti to attain Radha Krishna. So they're asking, I've already surrendered to Krishna, so is it necessary for me to also do this thing? And the answer is no. So yes, certainly this Vedic astrology, Jyotish, it's part of our Vedic knowledge. However, it has nothing to do with the path to God. It has to do with Vedic karma, Vedic rituals, and mostly for those who wish to attain Swarg. Swarg means the material realm we call heaven. It's different than the absolute divine attainment or God's divine abode. So if someone is following the path of Raganuga Bhakti, as I have laid out for you in the last couple of weeks, how you sit and meditate on the form of Radha Krishna, do kirtan, try to remember them as much as possible throughout the day. This is the path to God we call Raganuga Bhakti. So according to all the scriptures and saints, Anyabhilashita shunyam jnana karmadya navritam bhaktir samrit sindhu. There should be no avaran, there should be no covering or mixing of other practices of other paths with Raganuga Bhakti. If you want to follow pure Raganuga Bhakti, there's a few things you have to keep in mind, and that is one of them. One we already talked about, continuous remembrance. The other is this ananyata, and remember that the path of Raganuga Bhakti is independent. If you are following the path of Raganuga Bhakti, doing devotion to Radha Krishna with the grace of a true divine saint like Jagadguru Shree Kripalu Ji Maharaj, then going as some extra thing to an astrologer to find out, oh, I think, do I have anything bad coming up in my horoscope, any extra practices or anything I need to do to mitigate the effect of this planet or that planet? No requirement. In fact, it's recommended to completely avoid such things. Of course, doing part of Sundarkand of the Ramayana is a good thing. It's Sri Ram's Leelas. So there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. But the idea of feeling that I should go and consult an astrologer, that's completely not required if you're already following the path of devotion under the guidance of a true saint. Yat karma bhiryat tapasa jnana vairagyatascha yat yogena dana dharmena shreyo bhiritarairapi. In the Bhagavatam, Shri Krishna himself says, you get the results of all paths and practices just by doing my bhakti. So then why worry ourselves about, do I need to be doing this and that? Just follow one path, the path of Raga Anugraha Bhakti, and live a good, healthy life in the world. Nothing else is required. So this answers the second question regarding ananyata. Does anybody have any follow-up questions about that? Okay, well, we have a follow-up question from a previous time that one of our YouTube viewers had sent in a question about COVID and people passing away during COVID, and I had given quite a lengthy answer a few weeks ago regarding this, but they've sent in a couple of follow-up questions. So sometimes it takes people some time to process new information. And also, when we're attached to someone who has passed away, really, even if we have the correct intellectual understanding, that attachment is still going to bring a sense of loss and grief to us. So even if we have the knowledge, it doesn't always spare us from the grief if we're attached to that person. So obviously, due to attachment, it's going to be difficult to deal with the loss of someone who is close to us. So because of that, sometimes it's good to again review some of these points. So one question is, it seems like good people die at an early age. So there was, I tried to explain that dying is not a punishment. Dying is something everybody will have to do. This physical body is temporary. Jatasya hi dhruvo mrityur dhruvam janma mritasya cha. The Gita says if something was created, then it's going to also be destroyed. If something is born, it's going to die. Our soul was never created, therefore it will never be destroyed. Our soul, meaning our true self, was never born, so it will never die. But this body is just a physical possession. It's just a covering or a vehicle like your car or your house. It's something you use to go around in. It's something you live in. So we live inside this body, but we are not the body. And one day we have to change bodies. That's inevitable. We have done so infinite times in the past because we've lived infinite lifetimes. Every time we left our previous body, we entered a new mother's womb, and we then took on that body that was growing in her womb, and we grew, then she gave birth to us. We lived for who knows how long. Every life is different, sometimes 1 minute, sometimes 1 day, 1 year, 10 years, 100 years. Every time it's different. But one thing is definite, that our time of, the amount of time we're going to stay in this body is predetermined. That's part of our destiny. Is it good to die sooner or later as far as your age goes? I don't see one as being better or one as being worse, because you go on to the next life, and then it's not like you're dying. I mean, some of you would be happy to exchange your car every year if you could, right? or get a new house every 3 years. So why is it a bad thing we're just getting to exchange this and start fresh with a new body with joints that don't ache and a full head of hair? So the idea of, oh, dying is some kind of punishment, or even dying young is some kind of punishment. It's not. So the idea that a good person should get to live longer it doesn't match with our philosophy. We stay in our body for the predetermined amount of time, and then we go on. That time was already determined before we lived our life, right? So whether at the time we were born, it was already determined, when are we leaving this body? Then if we were good for all of that time, that's not going to extend our life. And if we were bad, that's not going to shorten our life. We'll still live for the predestined time. Then we leave, and we're given another birth according to our karma. Now, is being a widow a curse? So of course, if someone loses their spouse, then that's going to cause pain to them. And again, it's a question of how we react to the situation. Everybody's got to leave their body. So whether you leave your body first, or your husband leaves his body first, or the wife leaves her body first, somebody's going to be left behind, right? And it happens in every life. So no, it's not a curse. It's a natural process of this material world that we live in. We create the pain by getting attached to the people around us, knowing full well that one day everybody has to leave. We're with those people in our family, so we should be good to them. We should help them. We should live in harmony, but with our mind attached to God, not attached to the people in our family. But we ignore this instruction of God, the scriptures, the saints. We completely ignore this instruction, and we get attached to our family as if they're going to be ours forever, when we know that everybody comes and goes. Katinam sutana lalita kativane vadhur bhunji kvanute kvanutascha vayam bhavasangah khalupantha sangamah. Our scriptures give an analogy that our relationships in this world are just like the relationships with someone when you travel somewhere. Let's say you get on a train in India and you're going from one city to the next. Maybe it's an overnight journey. So those of you who have traveled on the trains in India, you know that whoever's in your compartment, you generally become like one family for that part of the trip. Whatever food you brought, you shared with them. Whatever food they brought, they shared with you. You sit together and talk. You get to know each other. But then their stop comes, and they have to get off. And you say, whoa, where are you going? I thought we were getting on so well here. No, well, this is my stop. I have to get off. But I'm going further ahead. Why don't you come with me? No, I can't go with you. I have to get off here. This is just like us in our life. The train is our journey through life. And just like passengers get on and off the train at different times, people come into our life and leave our life at different times, or we leave their life. This is the nature of relationships in this world, whether they be temporary passing acquaintances or the temporary deeper connections we make with our family members. We know this is the fact, and yet we try to hang on to it like we have some eternal relationship with our family members. We don't. It's a temporary relationship. So that doesn't mean we should renounce them. It means live with them, be good to them, live in harmony, be nice to them, but know that they are not yours forever. Krishna is yours forever. That's part of the lesson we're supposed to learn, that people are coming in and out of our life. Realize only Krishna is yours forever. Get attached to Him. Then you'll get perfect happiness and you'll never lose Him. But if we remain attached in the world and to the people of the world, then grief is inevitable. It's not God's fault, and it's nobody cursing us to have that pain. We're causing our own pain through our mental attachment that we ourselves develop in the people that we live with. Is suicide also predestined? And if I die, can I see my husband? Suicide, the time of death is predestined. The method of death is not predestined. If someone wants to commit suicide and it's not their time of death, they will fail. Somehow or another, someone will save them or they'll fail they won't be successful in committing suicide. And even if someone doesn't commit suicide, when the time of death comes, whether they want to die or not, they're going to leave their body. So no, suicide is not predestined. It's a free will decision. So whether we succeed in committing suicide or not, it's considered a bad action. It's a bad karma, which we'll have to receive the outcome of in our next life. There's some punishment for attempting suicide, just like there's some punishment for attempting to murder another person. You're basically murdering yourself, so there's a punishment for that, karmically speaking. Suicide doesn't give us any relief. People think, I just can't deal with this. I want the pain to end. Yeah, but where's the pain? It's in here. It's in our mind. So when we leave our body, we don't leave our mind behind. Our mind goes with us to the next life. All our qualities and characteristics of our personality, all the good and all the bad, it all goes with us to our next life. So we don't leave a single problem behind, because problems are not physical. Problems are all in here. Therefore, suicide doesn't solve anything. The whole suffering condition of the mind goes with us to the next life. Therefore, whether we solve it in this life or we solve our mental distress in the next life, the solution is going to be the same. Understand spiritual philosophy, practice devotion, get your mind more attached to God and less attached to the world. Do it in this life or do it in the next life. But when we commit suicide, would God again give us a human birth? Not immediately. We might have to wait a long time to get another human birth. So suicide doesn't put an end to our suffering. Attaching our mind to God puts an end to our suffering. Do it now or do it in some future life, but that's the only way to make that happen. And finally, her final question, if I die, will I get to see my husband? No, that's a fairy tale that people tell themselves. My family's waiting for me. When I die, I'll also join them. No, whoever in your family has passed on has already taken their next birth. They may already have been born as your grandson or your granddaughter, or in any other species, right? So if they've passed on first, then they'll already have been born. And even if you were to be born in the same family, or even if you were to get married again in the next life, you won't recognize each other. You won't know that, oh, I've been looking for you since I left my last body. You don't have those specific memories, although you go with the same mind and you have the same personality. Your memories are not accessible to your conscious mind. So even if you did meet that person that you love in this life and you meet them in the next life, you won't even recognize each other. You'll be strangers meeting again for the first time. So no, dying is not going to, we shouldn't think I'm missing that person so much and they're waiting for me, I should die and go and join them. It doesn't work that way. So does anybody have any questions on these topics related to life and death that I just covered? Yes.
Thank you. So lately, I have come across some reading where it kind of points to the, whether it is fact or not, I cannot recall that the younger kids nowadays are more susceptible to the suicide thoughts and even actions. Whereas if I look at my life up to this point, I thought, I don't think I had those kind of feelings when I was growing up. And I would request if you can comment on that.
Sure. I'm also not an expert in that field, but if there is an increase in that type of thinking, it's most likely just a general mental tension that people in the world, people in society in general, I would say, they have more tension, they have more grief, they have more anger, frustration. It's the time we live in. It's Kali Yuga, and these things tend to get worse during Kali Yuga, definitely. So that's something we're seeing. People's ethics and morals also deteriorate during Kali Yuga, and then this type of distorted thinking or wrong thinking, it also increases.
And so, as a grandparents and for the younger generation of our, parents, is there any guidance that you can share with them to better deal with this situation as their children's, keep growing up?
Well, I mean, the overall question of mental health is the real question, right? So that's something that devotion, spiritual knowledge, spiritual path, that can be a part of a healthy life and a healthy mind. So from our side, we can provide that guidance as far as spiritual knowledge, so that someone has a more healthy perspective on how to live in the world, and hopefully that can help reduce some of their tension and stress. And then following the path of devotion, the path of bhakti, and having that actual connection with God also reduces tension and stress and gives a more deeper sense of well-being. So that's what we're offering from our side as an organization, and that's something that you can avail yourself of and expose your kids to. There are other aspects of mental health depending upon a person's current state, and I'm not qualified to address those, but what we're providing here can definitely be a part of helping a person have a good, healthy mind and healthy life. Any other questions? Okay, it's a good time for us to take the last few minutes to do some meditation. I keep referencing the practice of Rup Dhyan. This is what we're going to do for the last few minutes now. We're going to do some chanting, but the chanting is not actually what we're really doing. What we're really doing is meditating on the form of Radha Krishna. We're visualizing, what does Radha look like? What does Krishna look like? And what would it be like to meet them? You can use all your senses, in fact, sense of smell, sense of taste, touch, hearing, and of course sight. This imagery or this picturing of that meeting with Radha Krishna, we call this Rup Dhyan, meditation on the personal form of God. So let us all do this while we also do the chanting, because the chanting is a very powerful aid in this meditation. It deepens our meditation, it enhances our feeling of connection with Radha Krishna. So you're welcome to chant along, but make sure that you're also doing Rup Dhyan while we're doing the chanting. Radhe Radhe Govinda Govinda Radhe
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 Govinda Radhe
Govinda Radhe
Govinda Radhe
Govinda Radhe
Radhe Radhe Govinda 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 Govinda Radhe
Radhe Radhe Govinda
Govind Radhe,
Radhe Radhe Govind Govind Radhe,
Radhe Radhe Govind, Govind Radhe,
Radhe Radhe Govind Govind Radhe,
Radhe Radhe Govind, Govind Radhe,
Radhe Radhe Govind Govind Radhe,
Radhe Radhe Govind, Govind Radhe,
Radhe Radhe Govind Govind Radhe,
Radhe Radhe Govind, Govind Radhe,
Radhe Radhe Govind Govind Radhe,
Radhe Radhe Govind, Govind Radhe,
Radhe Radhe Govind Govind Radhe,
Radhe Radhe Govind, Govind Radhe,
Radhe Radhe Govind Govind Radhe,
Radhe Radhe Govind, Govind Radhe,
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 Radhe Radhe Govind Govind Radhe,
Radhe Radhe Govind, Govind Radhe,
Radhe Radhe Govind Govind Radhe,
Radhe Radhe Govind, Govind Radhe,
Radhe Radhe Govind Govind Radhe,
Radhe Radhe Govind, Govind Radhe,
Radhe Radhe Govind Govind Radhe,
Radhe Radhe Govind, Govind Radhe,
Radhe Radhe Govind Govind Radhe,
Radhe Radhe Govind, Govind Radhe,
Radhe Radhe Govind Govind Radhe,
Radhe Radhe Govind, Govind Radhe,
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 Radhe Radhe Govind Govind Radhe,
Radhe Radhe Govind, Govind Radhe,
Radhe Radhe Govind Govind Radhe,
Radhe Radhe Govind, Govind Radhe,
Radhe Radhe Govind Govind Radhe,
Radhe Radhe Govind, Govind Radhe,
Radhe Radhe Govind Govind Radhe,
Radhe Radhe Govind, Govind Radhe.
Bolo Shyama Shyam Ki. I'll probably take a couple of your announcements, Sanjeev Bhaiya. I want to just let everybody know that I'll also be here next weekend, and next weekend at this time, we'll be having a picnic after this morning satsang. So after the morning satsang, those who would like to join, you can come and join us for lunch prasad in the dining hall, and after that, I'll be leading a devotional walk around Radha Madhav Dham. We'll go and visit some of the holy places that we have here, and I'll explain how these are holy places that are Leela Sthalis, where Radha Krishna did Leelas in Braj in India, and how we've reproduced those areas over here. And then after that, after our walk, we'll come back, have chai and snacks, and play some games together. So that's next Sunday, starting with the 11 a.m. satsang and going all the way up to about 4 o'clock. So you can plan to come, bring your kids, bring your neighbors, and you can all join us for that picnic. The weekend after that, we'll be celebrating Ram Navami with a 3-day intensive. Friday night, all day Saturday, and then up until this time on Sunday. On Saturday, we're going to have an extended kirtan throughout the day, so you can come and join us if you want to enjoy participating in more kirtan and Roop Dhyan. And then Sunday at this time, we'll actually have Baby Ram in the cradle. We'll have that jhanki and a chance to rock Baby Ram in the cradle, and we'll do pujan as well. So I'm sure these were a couple of the announcements Sanjeev Bhaiya was going to make, but he probably has a couple more as well.
Okay. Radhe Radhe everyone. Welcome to Sri Rajeshwari Radharani Temple. On behalf of our devotees, we want to thank Swami Nikhilanand Bhaiya for very enlightening Q&A session today. Please give him a big hand. If you did not get a chance to ask you any of the questions, please feel free to ask Bhaiya for any of the questions after the satsang. It is such a privilege to know that this is one of the 5 divine dhams of Jagadguru Kripalu Maharaj Organization